All right, we are back. Geez, I want to throw us out. They must have known Charmain's in the building, and things are going to go wild indeed. Welcome to Wealth by Design here on Edge Radio Australia. The man, the myth, the legend, very much so. He's been missing for a few weeks out, enjoying the good life, been watching a bit of footy, mate, just a little bit of footy.
I haven't.
It's Jeff Bowman, everyone.
I have indeed, Aaron. Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Great to be here, mate. Fantastic.
So yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks in the east.
Tough gig.
Bit of a milk run.
I know you're doing a lot of work. I mean,
Yeah.
of course you were. Of course you were. It just happened to be at the footy finals, but that's well chosen time.
Yes, the well chosen appointments. All
Yep.
around 2 preliminary finals in the GF.
Oh, nice. Very
Couldn't
nice
get the
indeed.
Couldn't get the Cats up, but
Yeah.
the Lions were a good side.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gave your assistance with your cheering, mate. I'm sure you were very vocal indeed.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, we did our best, but it wasn't good enough.
Not
They
good
needed
enough
more
this
than-
time?
They needed more than me to get the Cats up. So here we are. Look, nice to be back. And,
It is.
We're very excited to have another top line
Oh.
A-rated guest today.
A-rate is an understatement.
Yeah.
This young lady, what she doesn't know about her game, you
Yeah.
don't want to know. Honestly.
Fantastic. Yeah. So in the spirit of the Wealth by Design collective,
Yep.
As you know, we're in the wealth business and we have professionals that touch people's lives
Mhm.
on their journey to financial independence.
Very
and no
true.
better than a very good finance broker to help
Mhm.
with all your lending. And welcome, Charmain Hughes.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you.
It's our pleasure.
We've known Charmain for a while now, haven't we?
We have.
Mixed in various functions and circles. And so it's a pleasure to get you on. We've been talking about it for a while and we've finally got you.
We did. Thank you.
Locked you in. Now, you deal with something that I think that just about all of us have to in one point of our life. We talk about mortgages, borrowing money, whatever it happens to be. You are an absolute expert in your field on this one. The conversations we've had, you don't mind a complex one, which I'm impressed by this. I think it says a lot about your personality. You don't want that easy stuff. You want when things are a little bit more complex, you've got to get your teeth into it. That's your port of call.
It is. I do like the complex. I mean, there's thousands of mortgage brokers around the country,
Sure.
and some of them are transactional, and you go in and see them, they give you a home loan, and off you go. Trying to help someone build their wealth through
It's a
home
difference.
loans, and whether it's commercial loans or self-managed super fund
Yep.
loans, that's where the complexity comes into it. And there's not a lot of brokers that can do that
Okay.
holistically across the board and look at someone and find out where they want to go and help them achieve that.
Yeah. Okay.
Indeed, yeah. So we one of the great things with what you do, Charmain, is not only just assist with mortgage loans and help with the complexities around some of those, but it's very rare to find someone like yourself who actually also is a broker that specialises in self-managed super funds,
Yep.
because that's a whole different world, isn't it?
It is.
It is very much a different world, and there's not a lot of brokers that do it and do it well.
Okay.
Understanding how companies and trusts and custodial trusts and how the lending is done is quite complex, and there's a lot of legalities around it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer to write one. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know the client's outlooks, where they want to go with their retirement, to make sure that you're setting it up correctly. And also being able to explain the structures to them, because they're not the easiest things in the world to understand. So try and explain to someone who wants to buy in their self-managed super fund and get a loan why they need 2 companies and 2 trusts, and drawing the pictures out for them so it all makes sense is quite an art that not a lot of people can do.
The
Yeah,
structure is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
The structure is where it's at. And it's so easy to make a mistake if you don't have the expertise.
It is, and I come across it a lot of the time. I pick up a lot of other brokers' deals that they think they can write a home loan and a self-managed super loan, and
Mhm.
they get into trouble. They get all the loan-to-value ratios wrong. They get all the products
Right.
wrong, and I pick up those loans and I sort them out for the clients and help them move on.
Well, okay, what you've just said, you could have been speaking Cantonese to me, because I don't know those words at all. And that's kind of the spirit of it. Like, honestly, that's what
Dead right.
I love with Wealth by Design. You get the right experts, you get them together. You're not having to shop around left, right, and centre and try and find somebody who's got the credibility and the skill set and the whole box and dice. And I'm impressed that you love this sort of thing. I don't. I don't want to know about the details. I just want, can we make it work? Okay. And how do we make this work strategically in the most efficient way and it's going to create the greatest benefit?
Absolutely. I mean, when you go out and get a loan, you're the one that's responsible for it. So I always take it on board myself to explain all the structures, how it all works. So if anything, someone has a high level understanding of something that is complex, like a self-managed super loan, as opposed to everyone knowing what a home loan is and how to get first home buyers grants and all that. That's a little bit more barbecue chat stuff, and everyone can understand that.
Sure.
Whereas you come into the complex lending, which is where the upper people are making their wealth for retirement, then you have to get into the more complex lending structures.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Fantastic. And so you probably get the odd question, Charmain, I've got this little investment property in my wife and my name. Can my super fund buy it? And of course, you would say you'd need to straighten them out in that, wouldn't you?
You do, because there's some very strict rules around superannuation and SMSF or self-managed super funds as such, is that it was created to produce a wealth for your retirement. It is not there to build your generational wealth. And that is the difference between the two entities. And being able to explain it to people and understanding and having the right people in your corner. I mean, I can do the loans, but I'm not doing any of the financial advice or any of the accounting. That's why you need the other two professions to turn around and go straight away and know what the rules are and go, no, you can't do that. You can't move a residential property into a self-managed super fund. You can't sell it to yourself in a related party. But you can if it's a business commercial asset.
Yes.
And that's where the difference lies.
There is a difference,
Yeah. But you've got to be able to understand that. But you can buy a residential property in your SMSF or in self-managed super fund if you haven't owned it before.
Yep.
And that happens a lot.
So if you haven't owned it before, you can do it.
Yeah,
Yes, you can go out there and buy one tomorrow down on Mount Lawley Street or in Sydney or anywhere around the country. And put it in your self-managed super fund.
So they're the subtleties, right?
Big differences.
So Aaron owns investment property around the corner. You've got your own self-managed super fund.
Yep.
Charmain's just confirmed you cannot have your super fund go and buy that house from you.
No.
However, you could go down the road and find one from a real estate agent or someone else that's not owned by you.
Yep.
And your super fund could go and buy that. Not a commercial, going to be residential investment.
Got to be residential. Okay. And I'm going to assume then, I mean, again, like I'm out of my complete skill set here, but okay, you've got the negative gearing aspect, you've got all the financial advantages as far as the tax advantages,
and the government decides to mix them around a bit. The one thing I always get from a lot of the investors is, well, why would I want to buy it in my self-managed super fund when I can just go out and buy it? The difference being, and I can talk about this because it's very common knowledge, is that when you buy within your self-managed super fund and you go into retirement, the property can be sold to produce an income for you to live on with no capital gains. It's, as Jeff has said many a times, it is one of the best tax structures in the country so that you can retire and not be relying on the government for
which
handouts.
is what we all want, right? Let's face it.
Yeah, we do. We don't want to be going and trying to get $3.50 for energy supplement and the pension and everything. You want to be able to live comfortably in retirement.
Yeah. And
a self-managed super fund will allow you to do that.
And something is we've kind of just touched a little bit, okay, with the rules changing, though, that works right across the board. So for the people who are living with a presumption that they can live off the old age pension at one stage, we don't know where that's going. They keep making changes. We don't know if we can rely on. And the way to actually safeguard your future is to actually take control yourself.
Dead right. Yeah.
Well, superannuation was brought in by the Keating government because they had predicted out with the growth in the age of the boomers retiring that the Australian government would not be able to afford the old age pension. And that was the one and only reason why superannuation was invented. And why it's been put into place. Now, there's some offshoots of it that you can do your own investment through a self-managed super fund, or you can go through the industrial super fund. The idea is either or, it's there to support an income in retirement. And that's why it was created.
It's a thing called the sole purpose test, Aaron. Have you heard about that one?
No, I haven't actually, no.
So it's enshrined in superannuation law that the investment that your super fund purchases must meet the sole purpose test, which means it's for the sole purpose of your retirement.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And so so it's why there's so many intricacies with the journey towards financial independence, and given that super is a massive area and as Charmain just said, like it's one of the best legal tax dodges. You didn't use the word dodge.
I'm sure I didn't hear that word, but there you go.
Charmain didn't use it.
No.
I did.
They don't use our money very effectively, as old Mr. Packer said, right?
I was going to say, Kerry Packer did say you guys aren't justifying enough to warrant any extra tax off me.
Oh, look, one of my favourite moments in history. I
Isn't it
love that speech. I really do.
It really is one of the best
But it's
speeches.
true.
It is. And people, and the reason why I got so excited about self-managed super funds when I found out about them was I had this electrician, Steve, and he came to my house and he was about 65. And I said, Steve, I want a couple of downlights up there. And he goes, oh, I don't reckon you need 4. How about 2? And I said, why? And I said, get your apprentice up there. He goes, no, he's not here. And he goes, I don't really want to get on the roof. And I said, mate, well, why don't you retire? And he goes, I can't. I haven't got any super.
Yeah, wow.
None. And it was like, oh, okay. Now, anyone who is a business owner who rents premises, it is beyond me why they're paying rent and outgoings when they could buy something within their self-managed super fund that they own, that when they go to retirement, they can either keep leasing it out and earn money on it, or they can sell it for no capital gains as long as there's some thresholds.
Sure.
And then they've got a wealth.
Yeah, but I've got the answer for you. Financial literacy. Most people just don't know.
Well, they certainly don't teach it at school, do they?
No, they don't.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. And I remember in school, I had one class actually with maths, and the lower levels of maths were actually learning, in my opinion, far more practical stuff for life. Like one of the maths classes I know at school, they were teaching how to do your tax return. Now, why did we not get that? Like, why did you have to be in, back then we used to call it spud maths. Why did you have to be in spud maths to get actually learn to do something practical that you actually use in your real life? But no.
Yeah.
No, there's no literacy at all.
No, there isn't. To the point, I remember once my daughter started working and she said to me, well, what's this tax thing? And I took it on myself to educate her about this. So I got the whiteboard out.
Yep.
And I went through all the different tax brackets, and that if she lowered her wage down, what the tax would, so she could calculate it.
Good.
Well, I can tell you 4 hours later, she still did not understand what was going on. But she knew enough then to ask the questions of, okay, if my income is, say, 90,000, Mum, does that mean I'm in this tax bracket or the next tax bracket?
Sure.
And I would say most people in Australia don't even know what tax bracket they're in.
No, they wouldn't.
No,
they wouldn't.
No, it's one of the great. Well, it's one of the great tragedies, really, that so many people are making financial planning decisions without having a planning support person helping them.
That's right.
They either don't deal with someone like Charmain, they don't deal with a financial advisor.
Yep.
You know, it just goes on and on. There's something like 10 million Australians do not seek financial planning advice.
Well, because it's so damn expensive. That's what when we're talking about planners' point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, but you've got a bit of a hybrid there because you cross over a bit.
I actually can legally cross over with them. So
there you go.
So I've got 3 appointments tomorrow, and 2 of them are with new first home buyers in the morning, and then I've got a self-managed super fund client in the afternoon.
Yep.
And I work on the one principle is I find out where they are, where they want to go, and I throw everything on the table.
Okay.
I give them every option under the sun, and then you get this glassy eye look, and I go, it's fine. All I want you to know is all these options are there.
Yep.
We'll figure out what works for you, but you won't be able to come back to me in 6 months' time and say, oh, you didn't tell me about that.
Okay, you've laid it out.
I've laid it out there. And then when they ask the questions that are past where I can talk about, then I put them onto people like Jeff or to an accountant or to a financial planner to get them into that next bit of information. But most, as you said, with financial literacy, people don't know what they don't know.
No, that's right. That's right.
And someone has to be out there explaining to people what it is you can do, and then so that you can make your informed decisions for your own financial wealth.
And protect people from the crib room gossip.
Oh, that's a big part of it,
We've talked about that a bit, you know, where it's the barbecue or whatever. As Charmain and you both know, we did a lot of work in the mining industry. Yep. So I would work, all over the mining industry of WA and the Northern Territory for a lot of my career. And you'd have these people phone up and go, yeah, Jeff, but I've got to switch everything out of this super and go into this super. I said, oh, you want to go into an industry super fund? Oh, why is that? And they go, oh, well, it's just the best thing, you know. It's like cheaper fees and it's
cheaper fees. I love that.
It's high performance. I go, have you been speaking to someone with a very loud, influential voice in a crib room?
Yeah.
You go, Where'd you know that? You know, and
you
so
put your
that's
bang on.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you got
bang on.
some dominating loudmouth that knows a little bit, and but enough to cause damage, and they influence other people.
Yeah,
And
without giving the full picture.
yeah,
I've
that's
had
right.
two clients, one that I was working with, so I knew his financial position, and he'd gone to a barbecue, and his mate rings me up and he goes, "Oh, speaking to Joe, and Joe said that he's on a 5.5% interest rate, and I'm on 7.5%. I don't understand." Well, the difference between him and Joe was at borrowings of only 30% of the value of his property.
Gotcha.
He was also at a different level to what his mate was at and was never going to get the same deal. But when they're at the barbecue, I call it barbecue gossip.
Yeah, it's so true though.
It's like they don't give the full picture.
No.
no,
But they really don't.
they only know what they know, and it's limited.
It is, and then they don't know how to explain the differences between where one situation is different to the other. And quite frankly, who's going to tell your mate at the barbecue that I've got 5 defaults on my credit file
That's right.
and I can't get a loan anyway?
Yeah.
Just don't overcook the steak, all right? That's why focus on what's important. On that though, I mean, I personally got a lot of friends who are FIFO, right? And I think that's
You really?
yeah.
I never knew that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
at one stage in my life, I thought I was the only bloke who worked in Perth, right? But, it just what I found really surprising is, guys working really hard. They're really making big compromises on their life as far as being away from their family. All of that, it's a big cost, right? Okay, and yes, they're paid very well, but they're not given any information at all. And I see that a lot of people who make a lot of money in that who are struggling and scrimping and struggling to build a future as far as with their super and that. And I would love good advice to get to people who have in that circumstance.
We're doing our best.
Yeah, it's like they can. I call it super sacrifice. If you're earning $150,000 and the your employer is putting in the 12% now into it, you can actually lower your tax bracket down by contributing to your super fund yourself.
Yep.
So instead of paying, say, 37 cents in the dollar in tax, if you take that money and put it into your super fund, it doesn't matter if it's Australian super or any of the supers out there. Instead of paying 37% tax, you're only going to be paying 15% tax.
How good is that?
I mean, it's not rocket science, but no one's out there talking
But
about it.
you said it before. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is the great problem. Yeah. And, there's men and women out there who are very, very good at what they do for a living, but they don't have the skills that you're going to get through yourself or through a financial planner or an accountant who specialises in this sort of thing. And this is what it comes down to: get the right advice.
Yeah.
Talk to the people who know that game. Right. That's incredibly important.
Yeah, open up the discussion. I've got a question for you in relation to debt servicing ratios, because you've got in a conventional loan, outside super, you've got can you afford the loan, and does the loan to value ratio stack up, right? Conventional. That's the same in super, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
completely different. So within a self-managed super fund, because it's what they call a limited liability, the liability is limited only to that property. So if there is employer contributions coming in, or if you're self-employed and you're making your superannuation contributions through that way, and the rent coming in, if those two factors service the loan, it doesn't matter if you've got a $10,000 Amex card and $2 million outside of it. It is seen as an insular unit.
Okay.
So it's completely separate to
Right.
everything else.
Okay, good. So the servicing of the debt of a loan inside a super fund is gauged on the contributions that are made to the super,
That's right.
which can be a maximum of 30,000 if it's a tax deductible,
Yes,
or up to 120,000 if it's non-tax deductible.
that's right.
Is there anything else that would contribute towards the serviceability of the loan in the eyes of the lender over and above those two?
The rent and the super contributions. If you had shares and they were paying dividends
Okay,
within your self-managed super fund, that is an income to the self-managed super fund.
Okay.
perfect.
So therefore can be used to pay debt.
Do they discount the rent or the
They
dividends?
do. They do, which is no different to outside of self-managed super
Okay.
fund. Or
Yep.
all the lenders are a little different. Some of them
Yep.
shade it to 80% of the rental income. Some do 75%. They're all a little bit different. There's no difference on that within a self-managed super fund loan.
Okay, so here could be a trap for, say, let's say you had a panel beater shop for instance, and there was a lot of cashies, right? And they thought they were clever in keeping their salary down,
Yep.
which meant they wouldn't be paying a lot of super
Or tax.
or tax, right? So
Yep.
they've got their actual income down to say 50 grand,
Yep.
when it should be, call it 100.
Yep.
Then so the 100,000 salary doesn't come into it when they want to service a property inside their self-managed super fund, when they want to buy the little factory out in Malaga, right? Because if they're only getting 12% on 50 grand salary, that might not be
Won't
enough
be enough. No.
to service the loan.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
so these guys need a serious education. They go, my God, okay, my accountant's advised me this is a great way to keep my tax down. However, it's been counterproductive to get a loan in my super fund if I want to buy my factory in the super fund.
Yeah.
And so therein lies a fantastic education piece for people like you, right? Because
Absolutely.
you've got to be realistic here, you guys.
And that's where talking to your broker before, a good broker, a relationship broker, which is what I consider myself to be, before you do anything is wise. Like my own accountant, and I love my accountant, Keegan, I don't know if you're watching, I've been with you for over 20 years now.
Yep.
But I sat down with him and goes, okay, because I operate a business through a family trust. And he was like, okay, well, I'll set the income this way. And I went, no, stop, Keegan. I know your job as an accountant is to minimize tax.
Yep.
But I'm actually going for a loan next year.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And I need my income to be up to where it is.
Ditto.
Now, this is the difference because, okay, you're having that communication. You know actually what your investment goals are. You're not just looking at one side. And that's so important for if you're dealing with an expert, they need to be asking these questions because everyone's goals are different, right?
Yeah.
And self-employed people are the ones, and I love working with them because you get to educate them a lot more on actually paying tax is a good thing because it means you're earning money.
True.
I remember I sat down with this client of mine one day and he goes to me, Bruce, he goes to me, Charmain, I got a tax problem. And I looked at his pay slip and he's right, he did. He was paying $172,000 in tax. And I looked at him and I went, Bruce, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's a side business is all right.
Yeah, come on, Bruce, just listen to me.
It's not bad, mate. And he took a step back and he goes, oh, okay, fine. But going back to you about the people that do the cashies, I remember I was sitting down with this young couple and they owned a deli. And he goes, I've got $95,000 to put in towards this purchase. I went, okay, yeah, no problems. And I looked at his bank statements and said, where is it? And he goes, in the safe.
Oh.
I went, right. So how are you going to put that in the bank? Because I said, we need to prove that you got the money.
Yeah, that's right.
And I said, and that means that this tax year is not going to be as nil tax as last year. And he went, okay.
Right. Yeah. I look, as far as the people doing cashies, I don't even think it's possible anymore. It's almost impossible anyway. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in that world, but you know,
the cash economy is rife.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
It is to a certain extent, but if they want to grow, and like I said earlier, anyone that rents a premises should own their premises because you're paying all the rent, you're paying all the outgoings, you're paying all the insurances, you're paying all the land tax.
I know.
Why in God's name would you not own it?
Yeah.
And then have an asset building for you?
It bring up a fantastic point, Charmain, because that once again, it just gets back to getting the knowledge out to these people to say this can be done. I mean, there are so many opportunities to go. I mean, we had a case, and I think I've discussed this with Charmain before. It was a couple that had a poorly producing property, like a 3% net yield, and it was in their private names. And break it all down, it was. And that was going to be part of their retirement house.
Gotcha.
And so, okay, so you're going to get 35 grand a year on this $1 million property, and you're still going to have to pay tax on it. And you say it's for your retirement. Yeah, that's Jeff. That's what we're going to do. We've told our accountant what we're doing, and rah. Okay, cool. Well, however, what they ended up with was the same value property worth $1 million, but generating about a 12% return.
What a difference.
Yeah. However, better than that, they bought it in the super fund, right?
Tax.
Tax. So no capital gains.
Yeah, that's right.
It's still $1 million asset, but now, like, it's $100,000 a year of income, not 30, not 35, but After 60, that $100,000 worth of rental income is tax-free.
Yeah.
And the difference you make to people's lives
Oh.
is staggering.
Night and day.
Yes.
Night and day.
So-
It's massive.
So get 20 grand after tax,
Sure.
like 30 less 10 tax, 20 grand after tax in retirement, or 100,000 after tax in retirement. What's better, 20 or 100? And it's the same.
I can
value
think
asset.
about 80,000 reasons why I want the other option.
And
Yeah.
like that just makes all of a sudden they're self-funded retirees.
Yeah.
They never have to line up for the dole office to get the
Yep.
pension.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Something you were talking about before, I just find this really, really fascinating from a business point of view, as far as owning your own premises. I mean, is that, I don't want to, obviously, we're not doing financial advice here. This is obviously education and a conversation. But say a person like myself, right? Okay, obviously we're in premises here with Edge.
Yep.
So I could feasibly buy a building.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
under my super.
If this was strata titled,
Yep.
yes, your self-managed super fund could buy this joint.
Wow. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
And all that rent, all that kind of thing, guess where it's going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to
Into your
yourself.
retirement
That's
fund.
right. That's right.
You're the landlord.
Yeah.
Where you
How
can't
good
be
is that?
booted out, you can't have your rent rise.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about whether or not you get permission to put something wherever you want to put it. You can do it all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the dream right now.
It is the
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah.
I was speaking because I know you got some Houston listeners as
Yeah.
well. I was speaking with a friend of mine that's over in America. So when I moved there for a little while, I was actually doing lending over there, and I was telling him about self-managed super fund loans. And he was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Can you imagine if you can use your 401k
Yep.
and go buy an investment property and not have to pay any tax on it?" And he turned around and goes, "Oh my God."
His eyes lit up.
His eyes really lit up.
Hola.
And I was like, yeah. And he goes, so that's brilliant. I said, well, we have that ability in this country that we can do it. Most people don't know about it.
Yeah. Knowledge. It's all about
It's
knowledge.
about knowledge,
Yeah.
Charmain, do you ever get into the subject of asking your clients if they've got insurance? Because if they're going to buy $1 million factory and they've got a $700,000 loan, do you ever ask them if they've got insurance? Because if they die, the loan can be paid
Yes,
out.
absolutely. And I mean, I remember when I started, I've been brokering now for 20 years. I started and I did this loan when I was working at Mortgage Choice for this Japanese couple. He was the sole breadwinner. He had 3 kids. It was a 95% lend. It was really high loan to value ratio, and he died. There was no insurances in place. They had no equity in the property, and in the end, they went back to Japan. The widow took her 3 children and went back because they could not afford to stay
Go
in
back to
Australia.
family support.
So ever since then, I'm a big advocate for talk to someone about insurance. Talk to someone about if you've got a self-managed super fund, you can do all your insurances within that.
Yeah.
Which is no different to an industry.
That's
So
right. The
hang on,
super
so-
fund owns their life cover, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. So,
Yeah.
the money you're making within the super can also
Yes.
service that loan.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, that can pay the premium.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
wrong word, loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay the
The
premium.
insurance,
Yeah.
premium, because life insurance can be owned by an individual, a company, a trust, or a super fund, which
Okay.
is a trust.
Yeah.
And so whoever is the owner of the policy has to pay the premium.
Yep.
But of course, the beneficiary of the life insurance payer is the owner of the policy. So that the money comes into the super fund.
Sure.
And hence my question, bit of leading question, because there's a $700,000 loan that needs to get paid out in case they die.
That's right.
Or they become totally and permanently disabled. It's the same deal.
Yep.
They can get
Yeah.
TPD, never
So
work
true.
again because they've broken their back or whatever.
Yep.
And the 700 grand can get paid into the super fund and clears the debt.
And if you think this doesn't happen,
It happens a lot.
it does.
Yeah.
A good mate of mine, great guy, okay, multi-million dollar business, incredibly successful, worked from the absolute bottom up, and did so well. You know, finally bought it because I'm a car guy. He bought himself an Aston Martin. Everything was all coming together. It was just wonderful.
Mhm.
He just a few weeks, 3 weeks, or very, very soon after retirement, fell off a ladder and became a quadriplegic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, and can I just, if he hadn't had the insurances and all of the policies and everything in place, like, I mean, his life would be even greater struggle than it currently is.
Yeah.
And his beautiful partner would have been struggling. I mean, there was all of that to it. So it's not even just about you; it's about your family and the people you
Dead
love.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why when I speak to people when they do start up a self-managed super fund, is most people know that their super industry funds like Australian Super and all the Hesters and all of that, they have insurances within that.
Mhm.
Most of the time, it's only really small, $150,000 to $300,000.
Okay.
But most people don't know that that's there. is that when they do go into a self-managed super fund, I'm like saying, if you're going to move your insurances, if you're going to close that account permanently and move, then we have to put other insurances in place to protect you and your family. If I don't do it, I refer them out.
Sure.
Because it's just part of the due diligence that you should do.
Of course.
And we brought on a fantastic new insurance provider recently into Wealth by Design. You've got two choices now. You go to the financial planner, and they do all the planning for you, and they advise you how much cover you need, and you pay a $3,000 to $5,000 statement of advice fee for a financial planner to do that, which is actually a bit of a barrier.
Right.
Because $5,000's a lot of money to a lot of people.
Right.
Or you can go to a new group that we've just brought onto the platform, and they operate under a general insurance advice license. And as long as you know what you want, you go straight to them and go, I want $2 million worth of death and TBD. And they go, no worries, boom, here it is. We'll do all the application paperwork for you. We'll get it through underwriting. We'll blah, 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 any blood tests, whatever. But you don't pay the $5,000 advisor fee. Zero
huge
upfront
saving.
There's a zero upfront cost.
Okay.
So that's just two great options now, because if you know what you want, you don't have to get advice. You just tell them what you want. And it's the same companies, Zurich and OnePath, and it's exactly the same life insurance companies. So same quality.
Yeah, my daughter's going through a life insurance policy at the moment, and she keeps sending me all these forms. She goes, what does this mean? I'm looking at it going, it's just like a double Dutch. So I understand why people can't figure this out themselves and they need a little bit of help.
Charmain, if I had access to your brain when it comes to this subject, I would be tapping in all the way. So your daughter is a very smart woman.
She is. She's a HR superintendent for one of the mining companies. She is so switched on. And she's got so much brain capacity. She goes, but I don't need to have that brain capacity, Mum, because you're just going to I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to answer it. I'm going to understand it. And then I'm going to figure it out from there and make my decision.
I'm not going to waste this section of the hard drive on that information. I never want to know about ever again. So true. Look, we've come to the end of the show, guys, and I just want if you can give a bit of an elevator pitch of what you do and why you're different, because we've all had this conversation. I know why Charmain's different, but there's a lot of people out there who need this expert help. So essentially you're not doing the boring loans.
I still do home loans. I have a guy in the office called Nick. Nick helps me when it comes to the first home buyers, only because my own brain capacity when it comes to the first home buyer scheme, which we won't get into being what it is, and everything else to do with that and all the other lenders, he helps me with that. Whereas I tend to do more of the complex lending or the investment lending or the business lending or commercial loans.
But you're still overseeing what Nick does,
Oh yeah, Nick and I, like tomorrow morning, he's in 2 appointments with me.
Great.
He's awesome at what he does. He loves first home buyers. He knows how to talk to them without complicating anything, because at the end of the day, a broker is worth how well they can communicate.
So true.
And finding out where those clients want to go, and that's where I specialize in. I find out where clients want to go, whether they're self-employed or pay-as-you-go workers, and making sure I set everything up correctly to help them get to where they want to go.
Well, that's what I want you to get across, because you and I have had conversations, and I love the fact that you ask the questions. Let's face it, everyone's finances, it's very unique. Okay, there's no cut and paste here. So if you ask questions, you're going to know their goals, right? Actually, what people want to achieve. And I think it's
like if someone comes to me and they. Like I had some Indian clients come to me and he goes, I'm going to buy a 3x2 house. I said, no, you're not. And he goes, why? I said, because I have never met an Indian client yet that can get their family to fit into a 3x2 house.
True.
I said, you'll be selling it and we'll be buying a new one in 12 months time. So let's wait the 3 months till we get your deposit up, and we're going to get you in the house that's going to be fit for purpose.
Brilliant.
And not have to pay the stamp duty and the selling costs again. And those are the sort of conversations I have with clients all the time.
True leadership. Well done. And if I can give a plug for your industry,
please.
A very good broker, works for the customer, not for the product provider.
That's
right.
Yep.
And so that's why, as in my financial planning career, I've loved brokers, because they do exactly what we did. We were paid a fee for doing the right thing by the client. So the client retained us to give the right advice. People like you, Charmain, you receive payment from a product provider, and you may even charge an additional fee. But at the end of the day, your job by charter is to work for the customer, not for the product provider.
Actually, it's legislated.
There you go. So
Best practice.
best practice, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But it needed to, because
Yeah.
I think in a lot of history, it wasn't that sort of situation.
In the eastern states, yes, Western Australians were licensed 10 years before the rest of the country.
Oh, there you go. Didn't
Yeah.
know that. Okay.
Yeah, they were.
righto. So tell all the crew out there how they find you, what your contact details are, Whiteroom Finance, rah.
Yeah, so I work under a banner called Whiteroom Finance. It's white as in the colour and room, and it's Charmain as in Shah and Main Road. There's no E on the end. My mother couldn't figure that out. And it's Hughes as in the Irish one. Just Google me. I'm going to come up on Google. I've been around for 20 years. Google me and I'm happy to help.
And your phone number?
Fantastic.
Or you don't give it out?
Oh, I do give it out. 0431 675 785.
I'll make that a whole lot easier. On your screen right now, it says wealthbydesign.com.au. Go to the website, boom, the link goes straight through, and you can talk to Charmain. Fantastic. It's much
Rock and
easier
roll.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta love that.
Fantastic.
Oh, look at us
Oh,
go.
look at that.
Thank you very much for being part of the show. This has been Wealth by Design here on Edge Radio Australia.